It started about 15 years ago, and it's multiplied since. And all of our scholarship funds are a little different. They're not all the same by any stretch of the imagination. Some are simply for a particular county, and some are for the whole of the midshore. But this year was a robust year for us, in spite of COVID. We had some 300 applications from the 5 counties. Those decisions are not made by Midshore Community Foundation. They're made by volunteers. 115 volunteers participated in our scholarship program this year. The volunteers will get the applications, they'll prioritize them, ones they like, ones they don't like. They'll lobby for those that we do, and we sit in the back of the room and keep score. This is how much money you've spent and how much money you can spend. This particular year that just passed, we had 57 different scholarships that were available. Now, there were numerous scholarships under some of those, but they were 57 different ones, all very different. $1.6 million this year, last year $1.2 million, so there's $400,000 there. We had this year 164 students that got scholarships from Midshore, and they're through the 5 counties. Last year we had 133 students, to give you an indication of the number that we touched this year compared to last year. Now, our scholarships are varied. There's career and technology, there's workforce development, there's the more traditional 2-4 graduate school types of scholarships. So they're very different in what their focus might be. Those 164 students got 226 scholarships this year. That's how many we provided. So one of the new ones this year is the Cambridge Rotary Club. Cambridge Rotary always had a robust scholarship program, and they got to the point where it became complicated to do the administration, complicated to get it out to the students in Dorchester County that we have scholarships, you should apply. So we were the ones that went out there and got the scholarship applications. We manage the funds. It's an endowment fund here at Midshore Community Foundation, and we had 7 scholarships that came out of that particular scholarship fund this year. And that makes a difference in Dorchester County, and has for years and years. But we've made their administration much easier, I'm sure. Another really interesting one, the Rotary Club of Easton just passed 100 years. It was a centennial. So part of what they wanted to do was set up a career and technology scholarship fund. They call it their centennial fund. So we're responsible for that. Another very interesting scholarship, English as a second language. We had never had a scholarship like that before. And the Wolke family, who lives down in the St. Michael's area, I've known them for some time, they funded that scholarship, $125,000. And the criteria is English as a second language, first to go to a secondary education type, and if somebody would come out of foster care, they liked that component also. So there was $125,000, and 10 students received those scholarships. So that'll make a lot of difference for that population, but first time we've ever had that criteria. And it is something we hope we'll have going on in perpetuity, because we certainly need those types of scholarships. One that resonates, I think, for all of us, and the story behind it is this. One of our directors from Kent County, Charles Lerner, and I were talking back last October. And he said to me, he said, you know, we have a huge crisis when it comes to healthcare professionals here in the Midshore. You know, the CNAs, the nurses, the techs, all of those type of people. He said, do you think Midshore can do anything about it? I said, I don't know. Let me give it some thought. So Midshore had its audit completed in November. And as part of that audit request, I went to the audit committee after it was certified and complete and said, would you give Midshore $100,000 to establish healthcare scholarship, the Midshore Healthcare Scholarship. They said, absolutely, you can do it. So not only did we get the initial $100,000, but we got another $130,000. So that scholarship fund was $230,000. Will it solve the problem? Not a chance. Does it make a difference? Absolutely, it will. And those scholarship committee folks were all medical professionals. And that provided this year 22 different scholarships, healthcare oriented, all of them. And our hope is they'll go get their certifications and they'll come back to the Midshore. That's our hope. But at Midshore, we do a lot of things other than scholarships too. This is a big part of what we do, $1.6 million. But just to give you an indication, and this number that I'll give you is not audited, it won't be until November. But this year we will provide in excess of $7 million in grants and scholarships for the 5-county area. Last year it was about $6.3 million. So we can touch a lot of things because our mission statement is quality of life. And there are a lot of things here in the Midshore that we touch. There are the hospice and the CASA and the dogs and the cats and the old people, the disabled people, the young people, and scholarships. So if it has to do with quality of life, Midshore will try to take it on.